Welcome, nerds, to a little bit more of a traditional reaction than what we've done more recently, and that is a music reaction. This time we're reacting to "In This Moment" featuring Kim Dracula. The name of the song is "Heretic." We're going to get into that. Okay, so in this moment, before we do the things, let's push the merch, baby. This is the most recent specialty music nerd shirt. Was going to be limited time. I just love the design a little bit too much, so it is now a mainstay in the stores, or in the store rather. Go check that out. Linked in the description. You can get this on a shirt, on a hoodie. I think I have a coffee mug and probably a bag and very likely a sticker. I can't remember exactly what all I put this design on, but it's going to be sticking around, so it will go on more things eventually, I'm sure. I love it. You love it. Go get yours today. Linked down in the description. That, and then we have our channel partner to talk about, Dubby, real quick. Dubby, you'll see me taking drinks from this guy from time to time. Dubby is the only, as far as I know, the only energy drink manufacturer, developer, that's not the words, producer, there we go, that does a s'mores flavored energy drink. It is powder, so you have to mix it. You mix it with milk or your favorite milk alternative. Honestly, pro tip, the best version of that I have found is coconut milk. Coconut milk with the s'mores. That's not what I'm doing this morning. I strawberry milk in this guy, but coconut milk with the s'mores is next level of awesome. But Dubby is pretty awesome in and of itself, just because of all of the energy drinks I have had, this is my personal experience of all the energy drinks I have had, which I have had many, bit of a connoisseur, if you will. The nootropics, the nootropic elements, the stuff that helps your brain function better in Dubby helps my brain function better than any of the other stuff. You got the G Fuels, and you've got the Ghosts, and you've got all good brands, sure, but the stuff in Dubby is just a step above the rest. So I cannot sing the praises high enough. I'm a little heartbroken that I'm almost out of my s'mores tub, because it is the best damn energy drink you're ever going to be drinking. It's so yummy. Yeah, go check out dubby.gg. That is the website. Go buy a bunch of things or just the one thing. They also have sample packs. They also have hydration drinks, not just caffeinated drinks, but they have hydration stuff as well. I use their caffeinated drinks to do pre-workout stuff. It really helps the mind-muscle connection when you're doing the workouts and the things. So that's awesome. But yeah, go put whatever you want in your cart. Use code GenerallyNerdy at checkout, and you'll get 10% off. Plus, I get a little bit of a kickback. You win, I win, we all win. So yeah, that is, yeah, I can't sing their praises high enough, but we must move on. All right, so into the proper reaction, we have expectations. Nope, that's not right. That's not right. We do history first. History with the artist. This is a little bit complicated because we have reacted to Kim Dracula, so we should be doing like a proper history of who the hell is Kim Dracula. Not going to do that this time, though, because we haven't reacted to In This Moment, and it is primarily an In This Moment song because they're the first ones on the list, and it's also featuring Kim Dracula. So we're going to talk a little bit about my history with the band In This Moment. I found this band a long time ago, back in the days when Revolver magazine was still actively being printed. I had a subscription every year. Revolver magazine did the hottest chicks in metal issue, and I think that was how I found out who Maria Brink was, and then was like, all right, I'll check out her band. She's an attractive lady. I was a teenager. And kind of was like, I mean, they're not bad, but it's not anything to write home about. And then they put out, I can't remember the name of the record, but it's the one that has the songs Whore and Blood on it. And they really stepped up their game for that record. And I was like, oh my God, I might be a fan of In This Moment. And then kind of the things they've done since that record have gone kind of stepped back to where they were before. And was like, again, it's not bad, but I've definitely heard better, more interesting metal acts out there. So I don't know. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. I am a huge fan of Kim Dracula. I actively own his most recent record. Big fan of the direction he's taking his music. He's kind of leaning away from the I don't even know what you would call that, the gore core hip hop stuff, the rappy stuff. He's Australian. He does crazy things. He's got really bad ADHD when it comes to writing music, because his songs go from jazz to thrash metal to that hip-hoppy stuff that he kind of came from. That's what got him his notoriety to begin with, all in a single song. And then, like, you even have some blackened elements in there from time to time, too. So it's pretty nuts, and it's pretty awesome. I'm very curious what he's going to contribute to in this moment for this song. That is my history with the artist. Let's talk now about our expectations. Speaking of Kim Dracula's contributions to the song, I really think, what's going on? Why do I have, look, I have guitar volume. I really think that there is going to be an element of this that is unexpected as far as Kim Dracula's contribution. I think the expectation is he's going to have his spot on there is going to be either one of two things. Either it's going to be a verse that he gets for himself that is effectively a bridge, in that it is different instrumentation of the rest of the verses that Maria sings on, and it's going to be like a rapped verse. The other possible expectation for this is he's going to be featured in the chorus with his singing voice and not really the kind of vocal that he does for his rapped stuff. So I think it's going to go one of those two ways, but also, like I said, I think there's going to be something here that really sets this song apart from the rest of the library. Aside from Kim Dracula's presence, I think there's going to be some sort of songwriting element that sets us apart from In This Moment's library. So those are my expectations. I really have no idea what to expect from the video production of this, so there's that. But that leaves us no other choice than to do the damn thing. So let's not waste any more time. I didn't realize it was a lyric video. Did I really miss that in the title? Really? Let's go look, shall we? Oh yeah, it says official lyric video. I'm a dumbass. Good to know. So we're at A. Already kind of giving me what I anticipated, kind of a mixture of both, because I bet these lyrics feed into the chorus, but also this is Kim Dracula doing his thing, his low vocal rap thing for the intro, which is kind of a bridge, but theoretically not really a bridge, because we're not bridging any two portions of the song together. We're just starting the song. So we'll see how this plays out. That's Maria. Okay, so this is a really deep feature. This is, it would seem, this is Kim doing the verses so far, assuming we're counting that first one as a verse and not just as an intro. Kim Dracula doing the verses and Maria Brink doing the chorus. Well, the two of them, it sounds like. There's definitely a dual vocal there. It's kind of hard to separate Maria from Kim's voice because they are in a similar register, at least in that variation of what Kim does with his voice over that chorus. But yeah, not what I expected. Definitely exceeding expectations. Got a really interesting, like, chromatic walk up during that bridge before we get into the chorus. And then that last one is a bend, like it sounds like a half a step bend. So it's not a full, doesn't go quite up to the next note, but it gets almost there. That's a really cool, because primarily we're just vamping on the A for what Kim's doing, which makes sense over that kind of vocal, or under rather that kind of vocal. Something akin to that. They don't drop down to the G proper, but yeah, interesting. I guess that's the chorus. That is what they do for the chorus, is that chromatic walk. Interesting.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
And then we get a little bit of his, like, death metal vocal style too. I'm digging this, man. They do drop down to the G for that bridge. Where are we in the song? We still got a little bit of ways. Yeah, and that's for sure both vocals too. So we'll go back over the one before that bridge, I think, just so that I want to hear the vocal combined again. That's actually probably not. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so the proper chorus. All right, we're gonna call this chorus and post-chorus, because the vocals that Maria is saying, as illustrated by the text on screen, that was probably too far back. Yeah, this is Maria. So the black and white lettering is Maria exclusively. The neon-looking red stuff here, that is both vocals. The black and white stuff is Maria only. Or one of them only, because it's black and white for the verses as well. Interesting with the mix, too. We have two different mix styles for these two different genres that they're kind of mashing up here. We have what ostensibly is I forget exactly what the subgenre that, like, the Suicide Boys would quantify themselves as. But stuff like that, the horrorcore, that's what I was looking for. Horrorcore stuff like that. Again, I'm not sure that's the proper title for the subgenre of like Ghostmain, Suicide Boys, and that kind of stuff. But and what Kim Dracula started doing. But for the purposes of this argument, it's irrelevant what it's called. We're just going to talk about the mix styles. So for something like that, we have a performance style and a mix style that is pretty unique unto that, because it in and of itself is a mixture of genres in that it's a hip hop style as well as a kind of a metal style. So the metal mixing comes more into when you're mixing the vocal. Because of the harsh delivery, oftentimes those guys are like screaming and doing kind of different vocal styles like that you typically find in metal genres. And then instrumentation, while they can have distorted guitars and things like that, which again would be a signifier of rock and roll, metal, something along those lines, the performance of the instrumentation is more in line with like a hip hop structure. So metal instrumentation, you've got the I was thinking I was in standard tune, so I was going to try and play a standard lick, but you've got things that a lot of moving around is the point I'm trying to make. You've got stuff like that, right? So it's very busy instrumentation. So usually the lyric at most is on an even playing field in the sonics of the mix, is on an even playing field with the instrumentation, because everything is kind of the focus. Everything is moving towards the same purpose. In a hip hop style or horrorcore, whatever we're calling that genre that Kim Dracula comes from, in that style, it's more like hip hop, where the beat is more of a support for the lyric, therefore is less busy. Right? So we're doing, it's even muted in this song, that chromatic walk up that they're doing, which is far less busy than a traditional metal song would be. Also, in the mix, it brings everything down. Yes, you're going to get a lot more of the bass end of things. You're going to get a lot more of the percussion, because that does not sonically really sit in the same frequencies as the voice, where a guitar, wah, right? They're approximately in the same rough area as far as frequencies go. So this gets drowned to the background so as to not detract from the vocal. In something like this, we're mixing that with a more traditional metal performance while still keeping the subdued mix as far as the instrumentation goes. So we are getting a little bit more of the active stuff as far as guitars and stuff goes, but because of the vocal delivery of Kim Dracula, the verses at the very least are far more subdued mix-wise, but that continues on into the chorus, which is what we're calling the parts where Maria's singing, and the post-chorus or bridge or whatever you want to call that, where the two of them are singing, in spite of the level of intensity of the vocals. So I feel like I personally, had I been the producer on this, would have produced this slightly differently, in that I would change, with the vocal performance, I would change the production side of it as well. Instead of keeping that production even keel all the way across, which is a choice, and is a choice that I'm sure a lot of producers would have made, I just don't think sonically that's as interesting a choice as they could have chosen. We are getting a lot of bottom end on this. Definitely Rock Bass Syndrome in this moment is not a band that is immune to the rock bass syndrome. I was not expecting anything otherwise, though. The bass performance is just root notes, and the bass mix is keeping it in line with the guitar. That is a sign of the genre. Then they drop it for this little bridge section. It goes from the chromatic walk up from A, and then we drop down a whole step to G, over this. That's really interesting, just songwriting choice, because now effectively we have an entire chromatic scale that goes from this low G all the way up to C. And then you have to C sharp-ish because they bend that last note on the C. So really interesting, really, really interesting. Oh no, that's G flat. G sharp and G flat. Or A flat and G flat, whatever. We get a little bit of a change here. A little bit of a change, because you can obviously hear the guitar a little bit better, but I think really the biggest sonic change in this is more the performance of the drums and less a sonic change in the way everything is mixed. Just simply because before we get to this part, there's not a whole lot of cymbals in what the drummer's playing. It's mostly snare and kick, and with some toms and stuff thrown in there. There are some cymbals, but by and large, they're very much absent from what he's playing until we get to this, which makes a lot of sense when if you look at like an intensity graph of the way this has progressed. It would get more intense by the time you get to this part. So you're getting a lot more of those high frequencies. High frequencies make you feel a lot more energized. High frequencies make something feel kind of, it gives it more atmosphere. The rapid fire percussion, that kind of additional element there also makes this feel more important and makes this feel more like the focus of the track. So that's really cool too. We also have much more involvement from the second guitar. That's even more mixed down low into the mix. Falls down low into the mix, I guess, is probably a more eloquent way of putting that. But it's where are they? What are they doing? So they're probably here, somewhere in that. Yeah, there's some sort of, I can't really hear the notes, but there's some sort of dissonant thing going on underneath that too. We have a little bit, actually, there sounds like there's 3 guitar tracks, because you have the going with the bass. That's the one of the rhythm guitar parts, and the bass are doing that. And then you have the other guitar doing the dissonance, which I can't hear those notes. Maybe it's right about there. Somewhere in there. And then we have something even higher up. Oh, and also I just realized I'm in drop B, so everything I've said, drop it down a step and a half. Because that's not A. That's A. Whatever. All right, so that's A, though, if I were in drop D. There's something going on. There's like an ethereal kind of guitar element in the middle of that. So you've got the two extremes, the bottom end, and then you've got the dissonance on the top end. And then there's something sitting, I don't know, it's probably some sort of jazz chord, because they are talented musicians. Where are we like. And it's definitely not a flat 7. And then we return with a much more involved drum part. And we get a bit more involvement vocally from both performers. That's really awesome. So right there, that's what it looks like. That's really cool. I really like that layering because that third guitar part, you really like, it's not there to be picked out necessarily. Like the choice there was to add atmosphere, was to add a layer of thickness to the mix, and it does it very, very well. That's really cool. I really like this song a lot. I'm super happy that I chose this for a reaction video. That's really cool. Yeah. All right. So let's get back to this and deliver the final verdict. We have yet another example of In This Moment pulling out a hit, man. Again, fans of the band, I know that every one of their songs is a hit. They've done so much great stuff. Objectively, they are middle of the road. Like just from song structure wise, from a lyrical standpoint, like they're not really breaking new ground. From vocal performance standpoint, Maria does have a unique vocal sound, which benefits them pretty significantly, I would say, but her vocal techniques are really not anything you haven't heard from anyone else. She just has super distinctive vocal folds in her throat, which makes her easy to pick out of a lineup sonically, which is good. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that like she's not doing any sort of technique. Like she's not breaking new ground with vocal techniques like a Will Ramos from Lorna Shore. She's not doing anything like that. She knows what she's good at and she sticks to it, and that's fine. And that's not a criticism. That's just that's more evidence to them being the middle of the pack kind of metal band, modern metal band. This though is definitely set apart from the rest of the catalog of In This Moment, and I can totally get behind that. So for sure, gonna put this one into regular rotation. But that's where we're gonna end this one, nerds. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble for about half an hour on this song. Don't forget to check out other stuff going on the channel. We will be back to regular episodes soon. I don't know exactly when this episode will be going up. I still have a reaction that I haven't posted from last week, so maybe we'll just post all these reactions this week and call that good until we can get back to regularly scheduled programming. But regularly scheduled programming is only going to last for a few weeks, because then we're into the March through the off season, which happens round about November. So we have the rest of August. I think we'll have 1 week of regular episodes in August, and then we'll have October, and then the first week of November very probably will be the last of the regular episodes, and then we'll just be doing live stuff until the end of the year. So that being said, appreciate your faces. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you dug this song as much as I did. Go, check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. I'm sure there will be a video for it eventually. Amazon Music, Pandora, Deezer apparently is where it's also available. I appreciate you. I've said that three times now. So we're just going to head the hell out now. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.